We are back with the Mayor's Budget Improvement Discussions, and we have Nancy with us in General Services today. Nancy, I know you brought a couple of folks, so I'll let you take a minute and introduce them here in a second. We also have Councilmember John Cooper with us today. We're going to start with just a reminder to the folks who are viewing at home that we are going to have many, many requests for funds that will far exceed the revenue that we have to allocate. So at the end of the day, we will make sure that we allocate the funds in the best way for Davidson County taxpayers. So we appreciate that. And for those who also aren't familiar with what General Services do, take a moment, Nancy, in your introduction and just say like what you guys are over.
Okay, I'll be happy to, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. With me this morning to my right is Diana Atwood. She's our financial manager for General Services, and to my left is Laurel Creech, who's the Assistant Director for Sustainability. And I'd also like to recognize the folks in the audience, Velvet Hunter, who is Assistant Director for Administration, Stacy Wall, who is the Assistant Director for Fleet, and Alexander Ewing is the Assistant Director for Building Operations. And we just want to say thank you to them for all the hard work that they do every day. General Services, we are made up of the fleet operations. We have a division, and that particular division is responsible for procuring all the fleet for Metro government. So anything from ambulances to fire trucks to sedans. We also do the maintenance on that. And so we have around a little over 3,000 pieces of equipment in our fleet. We manage the fuel for the fleet also. In the building operations, we maintain not all the buildings in Metro government, but about 40% of them. And we do day-to-day operations. We also do design, construction and design out of that office. And we have the ADA operations. Then we have the Division of Sustainability, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a little while. But that's a new division. And Mayor, when you made the challenge to department heads a few weeks ago and you said, look at, is there something in your department that you could do differently and start? Well, we did that last year, so we were a year ahead, I guess, of that request. But we went through last year and felt like our Division of Sustainability, that we needed to elevate and dedicate staff to that, what our efforts that we're doing there. And so Laurel has been on board as that assistant director. And then Velvet Hunter is over the Division of Administration, and that's where we have our surplus property, eBid, postal services, printing, our HR division, and then our financial too. So that's, in a nutshell, is what we do in General Services. I guess you want me to talk about the operating budget request.
Yes,
and I will go through that. We have 4 requests for improvements, and the first one is around the Division of Sustainability. We have, as I said, this division was established to dedicate staff just to that and to elevate what we do, because it's become more and more of what we do across Metro, and also connecting with your Office of Sustainability. We have 2 positions, Laurel's, and then we have a mechanical engineer that monitors all of our building operations systems and works with our maintenance staff in keeping that going. But you've probably heard about SOCKET, which is our Energy in Action program, and we wanted to have a staff person that managed that program, that does outreach with Metro employees and the community, that does all the social media, the managing of the website. We have lots of videos that we do just to tell our story. But we see that connecting with a lot of the initiatives that you have coming out of your office, like the Resilient Cities, your sustainability, the Livable Nashville. So there's lots of things that we do that would connect with that. The other position would be a part-time position, I guess, and that would be, we were involved in the greenhouse emission reporting. Laurel managed that contract, and we actually did the data collection on that, which was a huge undertaking, I have to say. But so what we would like to do is continue the collection of that data and eventually automate that, so that as we do this every year, that we have the data and we don't have to go through such a labor-intensive time to get that done. So those are the 2 positions that we're asking for funding for that division. Operational costs for new buildings, we will be bringing on in this fiscal year, next fiscal year, the Family Justice Center and the police headquarters. Now, what this means to us is that when we start doing commissioning on the building, the utilities and the cost of that moves to us in general services. So that usually starts about 4 months prior to the opening of the building. So that's why we go ahead and put this operational cost in, and then you'll see in the next years where we add the additional cost for operations. Contract escalation, this is pretty routine,
Right.
is where we, in our contracts like landscape, grounds maintenance, building, most of them are around building operations where there's an escalation clause, and we honor those every year if the vendor requests that. And then we also are asking for Archibus expansion. That's our facility management program, and we're wanting to add some components around that, around sustainability, around project management, around energy tracking. And so this would be for the software components and also the licensing and any training that would need to go along with that. And then the last, which we probably want to spend a little time talking.
This is the biggest
Yeah,
request.
it
So
is.
let's talk
It
about
is.
that the most.
So every year, the budget office, along with fleet management, we ask departments, what are your requests on capital for new equipment and vehicles? And this year, we had 370 requests for that, and that just comes from,
370 requests for new fleet.
That's correct. Yeah,
From departments.
like the fire department, codes, parks.
Now, is that per piece?
That's each. That's yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the 370 new vehicles to be added
That's
to the
correct.
fleet.
That's
Okay.
correct. And so, as a part of that, not knowing what's going to be approved, then we always put our staff ratio with that. And just to give you an idea, in the light shop, it's 150 vehicles per mechanic. In the heavy shop, it's 22 pieces of equipment per each mechanic. And the heavy shop, of course, is fire trucks,
Right.
ambulances, garbage trucks. So there's, the complexity of those repairs are much more than what you see in the light shop. So this is just asking for the allocation money around maintenance, fuel, and our FTEs to support those pieces of equipment. Now, depending on what is approved in the operating budget, then we would reduce that amount.
Well, and Nancy, let's talk a minute about fleet, because that's something that I hear a lot about throughout some of the conversations with departments. You manage the repair of fleet, so if anybody has a fleet thing that they need to do, you guys do it. Tell me a little bit about how fleet operates. Tell me about if you right now are fully staffed in fleet, if you've got some gaps. Tell me what's going on.
Okay. Just so you know about the how we're staffed, we have parts, we have fuel, and then we have 3 garages. We have the heavy garage, which is anything over a ton. We have the light garage, which is anything under a ton. And then we have the grounds, which is tractors and mowers and those kinds of things.
Okay.
Right now, we have, currently we have 24 vacant positions in fleet, but that's across all of these divisions. As far as mechanics, we only have 10. So tell you what I talked to you the other day about, that was across the whole fleet department. And out of that,
10 open positions for mechanics.
That's right, and we have 3 that are currently being filled, so we anticipate having those filled. But one of the things that we have to do, because of when snow plows are needed, or if we have some kind of event, or fire trucks, if we have a low reserve on fire trucks, then we have to go into overtime mode. And our staff is very committed in doing that, and so we use some of that savings from the other positions to offset our overtime hours that we have to spend.
But you'd be better off to be able to fill those
That's
7
correct.
positions.
That's correct. And we've had discussions within fleet operations about why do we have some issues on turnover.
Yep.
And just to give you some idea on what we have on turnover there, our annual rate is 9.5%. We had an aging fleet staff, so 3.3 of that is from retirements. And then our mechanic turnover is about 3%. But what we asked HR to look at our market value as far as the
Have you guys
salaries.
done a salary comparison?
And
Okay.
we were fine. We were very competitive in the market on that. But when we hire a mechanic that has experience, we expect that mechanic to come with tools. And a lot of times people don't have $20,000 worth of tools to bring. So we've been, and there's a tool allowance that we give now, and I believe it's around $300 a year. So we're thinking perhaps we need to look at increasing that tool allowance that would be a more attractive place for people to be instead of, trying to bring in people without tools. The other thing that we have talked about is having a mechanic helper, which would be a stepping stone to that, and it would give people an opportunity to build their tools and using this tool allowance. One of the reasons we ask people to come with tools, and I think it's an industry standard, but if you have tools that are Metro-owned, they get lost, they walk away. I mean, there's just things that happen, and that's a huge investment. So most of our fleet people, their toolboxes are probably worth $30,000, $40,000. So that's a huge investment for them, but they're responsible for those tools. But we want to look at ways that we can help them in making sure that they have the tools that they need and that how we can recruit folks to fill some of these positions.
So we have the Diesel College here.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, they're turning out folks who have expertise on this. Do you guys have a partnership with them?
Not a partnership per
Or
se
a
with them,
relationship?
but yes, we do, yeah. And so it's also looking at other areas where we can recruit from. We want to work with HR on, and where we go to find these folks. But right now, the market's very competitive.
Right.
And so what we see is when the economy, is not so good, then we have a lot of people knocking at our door. But right now, it's very competitive out there.
Okay. Well, I like your idea of a stepping stone, mechanic helper.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we're trying to do a lot in our community is to help folks who maybe don't have the advanced skills get into those entry-level jobs so that they can grow themselves into a career.
And let me just say this, that Maplewood
Internship program
Maplewood High School
Yes.
has a program for automotive.
Yes, they do.
And so we've had 2 visits with those folks in the last few weeks, and we were very, very impressed with them. And so one of the things that we wanted to work on is doing some internships, even looking at how we could get some of those graduates into our program as they graduate from high school. So
we have opportunity now.
yeah, we do, and we had asked for some positions there, but they didn't come through. So
Okay, so with the 18 to 24-year-old kids, though, I think that there's an opportunity with those
Right.
Maplewood graduates to try and connect.
right,
So
and so we're gonna make that happen either way, but we can we've been very impressed with that program and what they have to offer.
Good. Okay.
So Nancy, when you said $2 million if all the requested additions are coming in, that's staffing plus parts, labor, gas for the equipment and all that, not just because it looks like an awful lot of money for 6 people, but it's all the.
Yes,
yeah,
it
it's all-
includes all of it.
Okay, sure.
And like I said, we don't anticipate all of that being approved.
Right.
You'll make some decisions. But we can talk about the capital fleet, which is a different story too,
Yeah,
if you
that's
want to.
probably
Let's go
a great
there.
transition.
Okay,
that's a good
and
transition.
I don't know if you have in your packet this.
I do.
Okay, the bar chart, but this gives you a history of the fleet funding from a capital standpoint. The green is capital money that was used for heavy equipment, and the red is 4%. And you can see that over the years, there's been times when, like in 2013, we only got $2 million for fleet replacement, and that is not very much for, what we're up against. So last year, you did an additional 15 in capital, it really helped a lot. We were at like 85 million in doing all of our replacement. Now we're closer to 70 million, 69, I believe. But so we're hoping this year that we can look at another chunk of capital to, for heavy equipment. That would be Public Works, Fire Department, Water Services has their own money. But really looking at those departments where we're seeing growth across the city and the demand being much higher. So in the capital for fleet, on the heavy equipment, we're asking for 14.4 million. And then the additions that came through totaled up to be that 8.1 million. On capital for the light shop, we're looking at 9.1, which would be a 4% request. And then the additions were around 8 million there too. So it's just a money issue that we have, and I know that, that's something that, yeah, that you all have to take in consideration across Metro, and we understand that. But there have been some years that have hurt us as far as keeping the fleet where it needs to be.
Well, and I think, Talia, you have a breakdown of all the actual fleet components. I don't have that in front of me, but I know you've
Right.
seen it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, but the year, in 2014, what happened, we did a fairly major capital request, but then we had to use 4% to pay off the debt, which really, that didn't help us a whole lot. So the way you approached
Right.
it last year was much better for us.
Okay, good to know.
If you, that's right, that's right. So I don't know if you want to go through the capital requests for facilities and just talk a little
Yep.
bit about those.
Let's do that.
Okay. I know that some departments have already probably talked about some of these. Now, departments this year submitted their new facilities through their capital request, and what you're seeing in ours is existing projects where we needed to come back and ask for some additional money. And
Yeah.
let's just take the criminal justice.
Some like fire halls that are in their capital request, you would still manage the construction.
We would still manage those construction projects. It's just the way planning did the capital budget this year, it
Yeah.
came through
Through them,
them. Yeah.
right.
But we have two projects that are up and going, and one is the Criminal Justice Center. And as you recall, Rich and Mayor, you were in a meeting, I think it was last November, where we were talking after we went through design and development and design, and we had, it's typical in any capital projects where you have overages, and you have to start looking at that time. That's when you do the value engineering. And so at the same time, we had the trending of the beds that we knew the projections were that the incarcerated beds would be, should be trending down.
Which we
So-
did take a
Right.
significant number of beds and reduce that number.
That's correct. So after that meeting, the sheriff's department, or the sheriff's office, worked very closely with the construction team, the design team, and we came up with a sizable amount to reduce that by reducing the beds by 256. After going through that process, there were still some things, enhancements, upgrades that needed to be done that we felt like we needed to come forward with. And so what you're seeing in this budget will be the exterior of the plaza. If you recall, when the first renderings you saw, there was a surface lot there.
Yep.
And so with Nashville Next, and then with wanting that to be more of a park area, plaza, inviting civic center, that we put the parking underground, and so we made that green space. Also, there were a few upgrades in the plaza. We want to mimic the one that's here at the historic courthouse. And so those kinds of things you're going to see in this request. Also, even though there were mental health beds in the general population, because we put a 20,000 square foot facility on the back, there are some additional costs there. Just because we had to put, there's the structure of it, and then there's the interior kinds of things.
Sure.
But it's something that we all want, and we're all going to be very proud of. There were some things around modular cells. I think the sheriff talked about that yesterday. There's some security upgrades. We also, Laurel has been pushing on solar for this particular building, and so we've added that. So those are just enhancements to the project that we feel like everyone's in agreement that we should go forward with.
Will this be a LEED certified building?
It will be a LEED certified building. We'll be tracking at least silver. Right now we have 21 LEED certified buildings that we manage, and out of that 21, we have one platinum. 60% are gold, silver, and 40% are gold. So it may be gold, but it'll at least be silver, so.
Nancy, another thing is, when this project is, sort of, the approval on it really came 2+ years ago now, I
Right.
guess. And it's, one factor I know we've talked about in other meetings you didn't mention was just the general cost of construction since that time. I mean,
Right.
you've seen every project I've talked to on the private sector as well as the public sector are talking about the increased cost of construction. So
That's true.
There's got to be a number built in there for that as well. isn't
You're
there?
exactly right, Rich. It's an 8 to 10% increase in construction costs. And most of that's around labor, but there was some material increase too. So we were up against that. And when the 113 was approved, it was really for the Harding side and not for the downtown side. And there are increase in costs just because we're building downtown too. So all that is included in that number.
Okay.
The headquarters, police headquarters, and the Family Justice Center. On the Family Justice Center, that money was 2 years old, so there was some escalation cost, construction cost in that one. Also, there was a request to come back and add a 3rd floor. And that is my understanding, that is for the elder abuse that the
general fund talked about
yeah, General
yesterday,
Fund had talked
correct.
about, and then there's some training needs, I think, that Family Justice is looking at. And then in the police headquarters, also a 3rd floor. Since the design of this building, there's been some fairly large projections on growth for the police department. So going to that 3rd floor is for future growth.
But cheaper to build now than you.
Right,
than
to do
adding
it
Yeah,
later is just the
well,
thought process.
sure, I mean, to go ahead and add that structure, just to design it and then have to come back and put a floor on would not be, would not be a smart thing to do. So, those are the capital, the buildings, facilities that we're working on.
There's a couple requests have been in from departments, Nancy, for taking a look at redoing space in the old Metro office building. And I think that's something that we probably need to look at pretty carefully as we talk
Yeah,
about
we've had
funding stuff.
conversations with codes regarding that and with planning too.
Yeah.
And I know that the Arts Commission is interested in looking at something. So it's, taking all that into consideration and figuring out what's the best, the best options. But we've already started having those discussions.
And Historical Commission too, as we think about
Yeah,
Sunnyside.
good point,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Sunny, I think that the redoing of Sunnyside is something we're also looking at carefully, and that would necessitate the Historical Commission finding a new home, either temporary or permanently to be
Right.
determined.
Right. And then, of course, we have the Sheriff's Headquarters Administrative Office that's going on, and we're working with them on the relocation and finance. Talia, your staff has worked closely in making that happen. And, but that, as soon as we can start demoing that, the Jerry Newsom, and there's $1 million in this budget to do that, then we will get that project going.
Sheriff
Sheriff
thought,
spoke about
he
that.
thought things were going well. He was
Yeah.
pleased with it.
We do too. It is everything is going well.
Yeah, any more, the community, there was a couple of community meetings over there about the building, and it finally, got approval by the council. It seems like
Support from
everybody.
the council member.
Yeah, seems like
Right.
everybody's supportive of that project.
Right. And as soon as we don't have renderings or anything, but once we get the construction team and the design team, we'll keep the community involved so they can see what's going on
Yeah,
there.
because it'll be a pretty high-profile building right
will
on the
be.
interstate, so people, it's going to be visible, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So
Yep.
it needs to look good,
It will look good.
Yeah, exactly.
as all your buildings do.
It's
So
really good.
I don't have any other questions.
Do you?
No, we appreciate all the hard work that you and your staff and team do every day. There's a lot to manage out there, and you continue to do it very well, so appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. It's good to see you guys. Thanks.